Hey everyone, well, with the likelihood of us heading towards lockdown at some stage in the next few weeks, that's obviously going to make it different for us to do church. I know numbers of churches have batch recorded sermons and batch recorded music. I think our plan is if we can get through to Saturday, our church is going to batch record worship music. We're not going to batch record sermons. One, we've got to have them prepared, but two, we feel if we batch record those, that with the situation changing so quickly, we won't be current in what we say. I've got my sermons written and our other team have direct themes that we think we can still stick to make sure we maintain our common theme, but we need to be able to shape each week's sermon to fit what people are feeling and sensing at that time. So we're not going to batch record our sermons. As well as that, we are planning on wanting to engage as many people from home, and I know lots of you are doing this, and that's why I thought I'd record this. With giving testimonies, why I'm still giving what I'm believing, maybe connect group leaders doing devotions, maybe you pastors and preaching team recording their sermons at home. And so I thought I would put this video together with some simple online video hacks so that you can get the most out of your video when you're broadcasting it when you're broadcasting it to your church, whether that's on your live feed or whether you're just doing a devotional video. So the number one first hack, I've got some essential hacks and some non-essential hacks. The number one most essential hack, contrary to what you might imagine, is actually audio, not video. If you have poor audio, it will wipe out everything else. People will put up with poorer video if they got good quality audio. Now, if you're recording on your mobile device, I'm recording on my mobile device right now, and this is fine. I'm in a quiet room. If you've got a mini apartment with 10 people in the room, you're going to have to get everyone to shut up because it won't work. If you go outside and there's cars going by, your mobile device will pick up all that background noise, and you've probably heard this as just as much as your voice, and it's quite distracting. So unless you've got a designated microphone, which I'll come back to, stick to a quiet room. If you've got a quiet room, no problems. You don't need to use any microphones. You will get a slightly better quality with a mic, but absolutely not necessary. So avoid being in noisy environments. Number two is lighting. So we're on to video now. Lighting is really important. You can see that I have a light coming from the front here. Ordinarily, this light that's behind me is just there for demonstration purposes in a minute. Ordinarily, I have another light over this side. I try to get even, but it's just I'm limited for space. If you can get a light as close to the back of the camera so it's in your face as possible, that's good. Now you have an option between white light and warm light. I've got this just for any way of example. This particular globe that's in this lamp, you can't see the lamp, but this particular globe has a warm and a light option. I just flick it on and off. So if I flick it slowly, that's you see is a cool light. And then if I flick it quickly, it's a warm light. And that's entirely preferential depending on what you want to do. Today's quite a dull day outside. I do have a window over here. I'll show you in a minute. And when on brighter days, I tend to get enough light from that side. But what you want to avoid is two things. You want to avoid any source of light behind you. I often, you'll see on my videos, I often have that door closed. I have a bright fluoro light. That's my bedroom there. And I often do close that door. I just feel that gives a nice soft feel to the backdrop. I'll come back to backdrop in a minute, but that's entirely preferential. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to have light behind you and not light in front of you. So for instance, if I switch that on and I switch this off and I close my blind, so I've got no other light sources, you'll see that that's actually quite distracting. And you can imagine if it's any darker than that or any brighter behind, it will detract from where I am right now. Also too, I'll put my fluoro lights on the roof. Fluoro lights, you gotta be careful with some phones too, because the frequency, especially with webcams, just make sure, I think you've got to set if you're on a LED fluoro, you've got to set your webcam to 50 Hertz, not 60, or you'll get flickering. So the other thing you want to avoid, which leads to my next point anyway, is like roof lights like that. If I was like this, you can see how distracting that is, having a light above your head. So where possible, switch any back source of lights off and put your front sources of light on. So that leads to, what else was on the list? That leads to background. I know everybody's home is different, but it is disconcerting if you've got a lot of junk in your room. So take the time just to set your room up so that at least it looks clean behind. Now, I'm going to pick up my camera and show you a few things. You see, my room's not clean. I've got junk over here, which is all lighting equipment we bought back from church on Sunday. Look at my desk. It's a mess. I've got stuff everywhere. But just take the time to make sure that behind you is attractive looking. I just, adjust the cushions, do whatever you need to do just to create that. It looks a little bit cleaner and crisper. So that's important for that. The other thing with regard to camera position is a couple of things I want to say. It's best to have yourself, I'm actually a bit low here. It's actually best if you can get your height slightly above your eye level. We have this running joke in our family that I coined some years ago that, we know what a selfie is. Well, this is called a chinny, and it's not very flattering. So, especially if you're like me and you're a little bit on the side of heavy that you shouldn't be, it's better to have it above eye level and be looking up to it. Now, not too high. I don't know if you watch Kerry Newhoff, but Kerry Newhoff does this. And he stands back, and you see his whole body, and I feel like it's a little bit out of proportion the way he sets it. It's just preference. I love Kerry's stuff, but best if you can just get it just above eye level. Now, if you've got a tripod, you can move that around easily. I use in my room, I just use a selfie stick. I have another tripod, but I use a selfie stick, and that works fine. It's a selfie stick tripod. But if you don't have that, simple hacks. I'll show you. I've got some envelope boxes here to get a bit of height, and when I'm filming on my camera, on my laptop, I just lift them up onto that just to get that bit of height. If you don't have a tripod, grab a couple of glasses, and you simply just you get one glass on one side, put your phone in the middle, and put the other glass on the other side, and you can just tilt the glasses and they will hold your phone still. Simple little prop. You don't need a tripod in order to make this work. And if possible, I'm not doing it now, I'm talking to the front of the camera. If possible, you've got room, it's best to talk to the back of the camera if you're recording a message or something a bit more professional, because the quality of the cameras on the back are better than the quality of the camera on the front. But to do that, I've learned this many a time the hard way. I thought I've got it all set up. I've gone and sat down, I've preached 40 minutes or whatever, come back and find that the whole thing was recorded like that, and you just think, what am I going to do about that? So you have to prep it. You have to actually have someone sit in the seat, or you need to pre-record a little bit and then go and sit in the seat and test it, because it's hard to judge how high you'll be sitting or how high you'll be standing. So you've got to pre-record that so you don't cut off the top or the bottom. And try to get yourself, the other thing I want to say is, it's actually good, you'll see, it's actually good if you're not right in the middle of the camera. If you can get yourself, I know I'm looking at the camera a lot, but that's just for the point of illustration. If you can actually offset yourself slightly, so you've got more on one side or the other, that actually is more attractive to the eye when people are watching. No, I'm nearly taking a long time, but hopefully this will help some people. Some non-essentials, I'm nearly done. Some non-essentials, if you want mics, there are a couple you can get. You don't need them by any means. I have this Rode Lav headset mic, this is it here, and it's on a long cable. It plugs into my phone. This, you can actually get this as a lapel, but I have it as a headset, so it's not plugged on at the moment. It just goes over my ears like a regular church mic, and I've got an extension cable so I can actually stand up to 5 meters away from the phone. At the other end, because I'm an iPhone user, it comes like with one of those, and I have just got one of your standard adapters to plug into it. You can't get a cheap and nasty one of those. I did one time, and I found that it doesn't have the right microphone connection. So you have to get a decent one, plug that into your phone, and then you can talk and you get a very good quality. There is an app that I run. I've got it on my phone, so I can't tell you what it is at the moment. I don't think I've got it on my laptop. Let me see. I know this is a bit rough already. This just occurred to me. No, I don't have it on my iPad. I can't tell you what it is. Oh, Movie Pro, it is there. Movie Pro is an app that I've purchased, about $30. Gives you a lot more functionality around lighting and adjusting and so on. So if you want to go a bit more upmarket, get yourself Movie Pro. So that's mics. Also too, if I'm talking into my computer, I have a podcasting mic. I know John Fikelli uses one of these, not this model. This is a Rode NT-SB. Podcasting, it's a USB mic, plugs straight into your computer and gives you a much better sound than your inbuilt computer microphone. The other one that's recommended is Blue Yeti. They're two good USB mics. You don't need to worry about going to normal microphones. These are easier for home. Last non-essential hack is a ring light. You might have seen them. You can get big ones or little ones, but for a phone, you only need a little one about this big, and it sits right behind the phone, and it just broadcasts the light around the phone, so it's right in your face. It's good for very up close stuff, so we don't get any shadowing and all that sort of stuff. All right, guys, hope that helps. I know it's 10 minutes. You don't have to watch it all, but it's there if you want it. God bless.